Welcome to the cast at Glocker. Today we're going to be talking about the spring market. And Jeff, you've dubbed this show the
Spring Market Special Presentation.
The Spring Market Special Presentation. I'm Matt Green with at Glocker Realty. That's how you can find me on Facebook.
Jeff at Glocker.
He's the co-host of the cast at Glocker, which comes on every Wednesday at around 6 o'clock. Today it'll actually be on time.
Perfectly on time.
Today we are talking to
Matt Kennedy with Glocker Realty.
and
I'm Martin Slater.
Martin Slater.
And they were both the business owners of Glocker Realty.
So as you're watching the show today, we also have a contest, basically.
We sure do.
And Jeff's going to explain to you how that works.
So all you have to do is like and share this post of the show, and you will then enter to win a $25 gift certificate to Gramia's restaurant in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. They have some awesome baked oatmeal. Matt, have you ever had that?
I have not had that yet.
Okay.
I went there for lunch the other day. It was the first time that I had been there.
Our administrative assistant, Jill,
Loves it.
She loves it. She can't get enough of it.
She gets tagged in their posts now.
Right.
She's talked about it so much.
So all you have to do is like, share, and you will be entered to win this. They will randomly pick a winner on Friday.
That's
so you
right.
have until now. And if you watch the show, whether you watch it live or whether you watch it, Thursday or Friday morning even, that will enter you still.
Right.
So.
And the reason we're asking you to like and share is to help spread the word. We have a lot of business owners and a lot of organizations that come on the cast at Glocker to talk about what they're doing in the community and for the community. And we really want to share that word out. The more you guys like the posts, the more you guys share the posts, it helps us get the word out. And then obviously we want to get the word about what we're doing here at Glocker Realty and Insurance too.
Yeah.
And we're going to be bringing you a lot of information that could be very useful to you or somebody who you know in this spring market.
Hey, if you want to be the person that knows it all, sometimes people like to be that person, right?
That's right.
Watch the show, and you can tell your neighbors about real estate, the market, and what they should do and what they shouldn't do.
And if you like
Right?
doing
And-
that, come here and get a job with us.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So the spring market special presentation, I hope you guys enjoy it. And again, like and share so that you can win $25. Matt, you want to kick it off because this was kind of your idea, and you want to give us the background of
Sure.
the nature of our conversation.
Yeah, well, we obviously come across a lot of people, and everyone that knows a realtor, the first question is, oh, how's the market? Oh, I hear it's really busy. And everyone kind of knows, it's a good seller's market, multiple showings, multiple offers, and things are selling quickly. But kind of diving a little deeper into that and saying, well, what are you going to do if you want to be a buyer in this market? You want to be a seller. How does it really affect me? What's this market really like? And these are a little bit unusual times. Martin's been in this 30 years. I've been doing it 23 years, and we've not seen a market like this with this kind of activity. So, basically kind of giving people a little bit better insight as to beyond just it being busy, what are you really going to do and what's your strategy? And it depends on your situation. What kind of buyer are you? What kind of seller are you? What's your goals? And I think to start, the big question we get a lot is, well, why is it so busy?
Right.
And we're constantly talking about that because we're trying to figure out, well, where are these people coming from? Why does, in a pandemic over the past year,
Right.
given everything going on in the world, why is real estate so hot? Why are there so many buyers? And I think, Jeff, you had said, you boil it down to it's a supply and demand issue. You have more buyers than you
Absolutely.
have sellers.
Yep.
That's creating that activity.
And what do you think is causing that?
Well, I think on one part, it's when we came back from being closed last year, you had less sellers enter the market and the same amount of buyers enter the market. So now you're already starting to tip those scales.
Right.
We talk about low interest rates driving buyers into the market. It's a good time to go get a mortgage. I mean, it's a phenomenal time. We have not seen rates under 3% ever on a 30-year mortgage. So, that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and not only are they getting a low interest rate, which makes their payments lower, but also gives them the opportunity to buy at a higher price as well, right?
That's right. There's more. Yeah, they can afford more.
Yeah.
And I think economically, there's a lot of there. I know there's people that are struggling in this pandemic, and there's also people that have done well, and there's a lot of money out there, and it seems to be stimulating the economy.
That's what Martin was saying earlier.
Yeah, I think the stimulus really hit its mark. It's done what it was supposed to do. It's heated up our economy. You're going to put your money in two spots. You're going to put it in the stock market or real estate. And with people, what we said, with them being quarantined, hey, why not put it in your house? We're stuck in our house for longer than we ever been before. We might as well be in a place we really enjoy, where we want to be.
Yeah, and both things you mentioned there are both investments. I mean, real estate is an investment.
Absolutely.
Because you will, over time, even if the market dives, it's going to come back, and it will come back higher.
Right. It's the amount of equity that you can build. It's also an investment that you can leverage upon later. So
Sure.
you talk about borrowing money against your house to do other things like send your kids to college, things of that nature, or go back to study yourself so that you can improve your lifestyle and your livelihood. Right. So
Right.
It's huge there. I think, too, there's more and more people. We've been talking now for a couple hours before we decided to start recording the show. But one of the things that we talked about before was the fact that because more people are working from home, more larger, mid-sized corporations are making that decision that they're not going to maintain offices anymore because it's safer for their employees. Right. So there's more and more people working from home. And just over the course of this past year, I've sold a house to people who were moving here from Philadelphia. They didn't have to live in the city anymore. And I helped some people move from Queens, New York, down to Gilbertsville, Pennsylvania, again, because their jobs were transitioning to a virtual workplace, and it did not require them to live in New York City.
That commute went away, right?
Gone.
And the commute used to be the driving factor as to where people, schools and their commute. Where do they want to pick a house to live? And when you take one of those away, and even the schools, that's changed a lot.
Right.
My point being, like living within a school district. Hey, I want to be in town because my kids can walk there, be out in the country, and it's so those distance issues have been stripped away for a lot of people.
Right.
And we have a client that was selling a property, and they have a second home at the shore. They don't need this house here now. I mean, they literally were living here because of work. Now, hey, I might as well live at the beach because that's where I really want to be.
I would live at the beach.
I would visit. I would visit them. I'm more of a mountain man,
Yeah.
but I could appreciate the beach for what it is, for sure. And I think too, since we're trying to break it down, that person who doesn't have to make that purchase after the sale, for whatever reason, is in the best position right now to take advantage of the market and what is going on. Absolutely. So if you have a house that you inherited from your grandmother or something like this, if there's an investment property or a piece of land that you've been holding on to for a long time, now's probably the best time. I mean, I've only been doing this for 6 years. You guys know more than I do. But it seems to me, if you really want to get the best return on investment, now's the time to sell those properties if you don't have to make that next purchase.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the days that, as Matt said, I've been doing this 30 years. So
Right.
This is absolutely the most robust market I've ever been in the midst of.
Right.
To me, it outdoes our 2007 market.
Okay.
We were getting great values then, but what we're seeing now is just the terms that a seller can obtain in terms, meeting inspections. When inspections is a buyer going to ask for? There's such competition. It's not unusual that we get a dozen offers in on our property.
Right.
And a way for some of these buyers to make these things more competitive, as we're all seeing, is no inspections.
Right.
It's a real win for a seller.
Yeah.
So not only was I able to dictate really a really good price, but I don't have to worry about doing any repairs
Right.
as part of that.
And I'm
So-
sure we'll get into the buyer side of that as well, because
I think we're going to have to.
But what you
Right.
said for a seller,
Yeah.
it's there's no better time. If you have a property
No,
that
absolutely.
you were thinking of selling, I just can't imagine, a better market. I can't imagine how much better it could get. Not
Yeah.
saying it won't, but
No. Well, like any market, if you're buying a stock or
Yeah.
something like that, no one knows exactly what the future holds, and you wake up tomorrow, it could be a little higher. But when you step back and look at a market and look at trends,
yeah,
you've got to say to yourself, hey, this is historically, this is a great time to take an opportunity to sell property and liquidate it.
Yeah.
Take the full benefit.
Yeah. So like Martin, could your house be worth more in July or October?
Maybe,
Possibly,
right?
but it may not. Like
Yeah.
again, we don't know the future. But from a trend, it is certainly a good time to take advantage.
We're
of that.
still getting situations where showings are completely booked up in a matter of hours. So that means there's no available showing slots left. We're getting situations with multiple offers, 8, 9, 10, 19 offers on
Right.
properties.
Right.
You got to think there's only one property. It's only going to sell once. So if there was 19
other people.
other people looking at that type of property, they're back out on the market.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
in my mind, it means that the prices are probably going to hold steady for at least a little while because you do have so many people out there in the market.
Yeah.
we're still seeing improvement. I mean, as
yeah,
we go.
for
So that's
sure.
our trick for the four of us is we're going out to talk to people. We're trying to hit a target, but at this point the target's moving. So we almost, when we're out talking to our sellers, right, we have to lead that a little bit. If you follow my logic,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
right now our target's here, but it's moving. So we're shooting out in front as we give them advice. Not only, like I said, in all the terms.
Right.
This is what I expect we can find for you 30 days from now when you get ready to put it on. If it could all start to change and shift, but right now we're still seeing good improvement.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like I said, inventory, if you just stopped, no new buyers came into the market today,
Right.
it would take some time to catch up.
Right.
It would have to. And that's not realistic. Obviously, buyers are coming in every day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's some really great opportunities through this year for sellers.
And while we're still talking about sellers, you mentioned a word earlier, strategy. Even with this robust of a market, you still need a strategy when you sell a house.
Absolutely.
Because you could get this amount of money, or if there's a good strategy, you could get that amount of money.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody wants the higher the amount of money,
Yours is
right?
Better. Right.
No,
So-
I think that's critical that, while we're on sellers, that strategy and depending on what type of seller are you? Are you relocating out of the area for a job? Are you moving up? You plan on buying another home in the same area. Are you downsizing? Are you, going into, an apartment or a 55 plus or something like
Right.
that? So you take what that seller's goals are, but that strategy to maximize the value of your property in this market is important because it's easy just to say, it doesn't matter what I'll do. It's just going to sell really quick. It
does matter.
It does matter. One of the things that we have found, and we've all experienced it, is the media that we're doing for listings. You say, well, the house is going to sell in a weekend, but part of that reason is because we're doing video and we're doing really good pictures and
It's the whole
putting it
presentation,
right.
yeah.
You still want to do 100% of the effort because that may be the difference of getting your best buyer.
Yeah.
And when you're getting multiple offers, right, you're trying to have that best buyer rise to the top with the best terms for the seller. And the reality is you may have not got that person if you didn't do everything right and have that strategy.
Yes, I think it adds value too because when we're talking about some of the media and some of from a social media standpoint, some of that content that we're creating, People can go take a look at that at not Mac Grain. You can go take a look at that at Glocker Realty and Insurance, our YouTube page. Right. You can see the types of listing videos that we're doing. If you go to the Glocker Realty Facebook page, you can see the property websites that we're putting together with the 3D tours and all of this stuff. Right. So I want to get that out to folks. This is, if you want to
really
see examples of what we're talking about, that's where you can go.
Yeah.
You know, the
other part, hold on real quick.
Ahead.
The other part that I want to say is that extra packaging and our ability to make that house really shine causes people to fall in love with it before they even walk through the door. And that is going to add value, especially in a market like this where you have multiple buyers who could have missed out on that other property because they got outbid or because they had some contingencies or something that a seller didn't like. So now they're going to see this property that we've done a really professional, high-quality job marketing. They're going to fall in love, and they're going to come through the door with their strongest offer right off the bat.
Right.
Because they see the value
We've
in
set them up to come visit the house, and now the house just has to fulfill their expectations.
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct.
Right.
The other thing that I found in combination with the media that we do, and so this is a shifting market, and you know, every year is a little bit different, is the repairs people need to make. You know, today I find, my opinion, we don't have to make the house absolutely perfect.
No.
There's some repairs that may not be necessary to get our highest and best value. Over improving is easier done today than it's ever been before, depending, cost. What do we think we can get out of it? So, part of my trick is with a mind looking at where I know what that media is going to look like.
Right.
Maybe we don't need to really completely make every repair that the seller had on their list. We can save them some money and some aggravation by saying, look, in this market, we need to do these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. There's a shift.
There is a shift. And, in a normal market, we want to polish.
Right.
Today, some of that could potentially be an improvement. So that's one big piece of advice we can give folks.
I think at the end of the day, though, the one thing that holds true regardless of the market and the highest return on investment for your seller is those curb appeal projects.
Sure.
I mean, doesn't matter what market you're in.
The first impression.
If the flower bed's taken care of, the grass is mowed, the tree is trimmed, the gutters are cleaned out.
And they're easy things that don't cost.
A little power washing.
Too much.
You head over to your local home center. One trip to the home center is going to help you get those jobs done. And seasonally, they're jobs that you're already probably doing if you're taking care of your house.
Right.
Yeah.
And when we go back to the media and the content, it's going to even help make that place even look 10 times better.
Right.
But I would say this, too. You're going to see when you go over to YouTube and to Facebook and look at some of that media and some of that marketing, I want to also stress to people that there's a shortage in all types of properties. So even you have something that's kind of fallen down or maybe you think is a little bit dilapidated, don't be embarrassed to call us up and say, can you sell this? We're going to get you the highest price for that type of property, too.
Yep.
Well, that goes into that strategy. We're to look at that seller, look at their situation, and fit the right, hey, I've got a property, it's run down, I've neglected it, I just want it off my plate. Well, there's a buyer for that, and maybe that's an investor, maybe that's someone that's going to rehab the property. So you target those people. So maybe it's not doing a fancy video of people walking through, but the strategy is now, hey, let's reach out to our investor clients. Let's look at what's this house going to look like, value fixed up. Again, that strategy of getting the best price for that seller depending on the property and their situation. Yep. So it takes a little customized plan for each person. I think with the media, part of that is too. We talk about past markets, and 2007 was busy, but today things are happening so much faster. Everything's so compressed into a few days, and having that everything ready to go when that property hits the market, the seller needs to know, hey, be prepared for those showings right away. What are you going to do for the first few days? Because your house you're going to have people coming through all day.
All day.
just getting people ready because things are, the apps on the phones and everyone being able to get that as soon as that property goes on the market. Buyers are seeing it instantly. Agents want to make that appointment instantly. All that is just kind of put everything in hyperdrive.
Right.
What might have taken a few weeks or a month in past markets is now a couple of days.
If on that property website that we do for the majority of our listings, we can put together your own customized property website. That's a good example, Matt. The person can see the listing, read the details, look at the pictures of the video, and schedule a showing all on that one app.
Right.
In a matter of minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you want to be, I agree 100%, and this is a conversation that I have with my seller clients all the time. You're not going to lose anything by taking that extra day or 2 or 3, making the house show ready, and getting the right pictures, the right video, and everything else done. You're not going to lose any money in 2 or 3 days.
No.
In fact, taking that extra 48 to 72 hours could put some extra dollars in your pocket.
I think there's only benefit to doing it.
Yes.
And we understand a seller is on a timetable and they get anxious, they want to get going, and that's our job, right? We want to accommodate them, get that work done. We're not going to put a seller off for a week or two because we're busy or just don't want to get to it. We're going to move on that.
Yeah, we will work at their pace.
Absolutely. And we've got a good, when we talk about the media, the people here that help put the listings in, we've got a good team to support, that seller in getting the job done.
I like Martin's analogy of the quarterback. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Go ahead.
No, I want to hear it from you. I'm trying to include you in this.
Look, we're here to help. I think what you're talking about, we're here to call the shots. We're here to manage things. Ultimately, we work for our clients. We're here to give them good, sound, honest advice. As long as, and I always have a running joke, as long as it's not illegal, moral, and ethical, I'll do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah.
But ultimately, I think when we do it right, we're going to spend money on your listing. And that's everything you're talking about. It's crucial. It's so easy to fall in the trap. Well, it's going to sell anyway. I'm just going to throw a sign out and be done with it. And I just think that's the absolute wrong approach to make. And we see it. We see it every day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And we're going and looking at a listing, and for us, we shake our head.
Yeah.
But we know that's good when we're working for a buyer, we know that's good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? We know they're suppressing some of the activity that could be going through there just because of our experience.
Right. So I would say this too, the content and everything, it helps us help you, and it also helps you help us, right?
Right.
Because now, after we've slicked up your house, made it look good, fixed it up and everything, it's information that we can take to the next seller and say, hey, here's what we can do for you. This is what we did for seller A. You're going to be seller B. We can set up the same package for you, regardless of the type of property. We have some packages and some standards that we apply to our listings. That being said, too, I also want to remind people who might have joined us late to like and share this show so that we can get the word out about what's going on in the spring market special presentation.
If they like and share the show, what do they get?
They get a $25 gift card to Gramia's. Thanks for bringing that
What would you
up.
recommend that I get there for? I didn't have breakfast this morning.
Jill Diffendorfer, our lovely
Is that Jill's
assistant.
oatmeal I hear
Yes.
about?
Jill would tell you to get the baked oatmeal.
Would she really?
She apparently is the spokesperson for baked oatmeal
Okay.
in the greater
So if I
Boyertown
went in
area.
and said, I want Jill's baked oatmeal, they
Exactly what
You don't even need the menu. They would know what to do. Right.
But what they do lunches there as well, right?
Yeah.
And dinner as well.
Not just oatmeal.
And you can order.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
You can order from an app or from their website.
Right.
And I think it's pickup only, I think, if I remember correctly. Because we
So
had...
I stopped there for lunch the other day, and they did have some limited seating dining in.
And they
They're
have
not
dining
the full
in.
capacity.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's also
carry out
beer
beer
and wine there.
I believe so. I think you
Beer
can
and
get a
wine.
mixed drink there.
Yeah.
I think they have a full liquor license.
You
But anyway,
might be correct. Matt.
like and share the show for us. Help us get the word out,
Right.
and you could find out by
Yep.
winning this $25 gift card.
That's right.
That's what I wanted to say. We really do want to try to spread the message about things that are going on in the community. We want to support local businesses and local organizations, and we want to obviously promote Glocker Realty Insurance. So we're trying to make
But
this.
we are a local business.
We are a local business.
Absolutely.
We want to win, as many wins as possible.
And we've been in the Boyertown community for 50 years, 55.
You know, let's
Is it
talk about that a little
53?
bit, and then
53
we can
years.
we can talk about the history of Glocker and what we do as a company, who we are, and then I think from there that'll be a good transition into what we do to help buyers. I think we've
Yeah.
covered the sellers
Yeah, I think we
agree.
covered
fairly
I
well.
agree.
So why don't you guys are the owners of this operation, so why don't you kick it off about the history of Glocker?
So, Glocker Realty and Insurance was first established in 1968 by Carl Glocker in the Royersford area, and over the years expanded to North Coventry, an office there, as well as an office up here in the early 70s in Boyertown, this building here. And Martin and I both joined Glocker. Now, Martin, you've been
A little
about
longer.
30 years, and I
90s.
joined in 98. And at the time, after a few years being in this, I was kind of the manager of this office, and Martin was the manager of the Pottstown office, and Carl was kind of taking care of our Spring City office.
Okay.
So that was the arrangement for several years. And we also did insurance. Doug Kutz was an insurance agent with us. So as things progressed, Martin and I got involved in wanting to purchase the business.
Gotcha.
And that took place over a few years. And in 2013, that kind of came to a head, and we took full ownership between the two of us of the business. Kind of the next progression was a few years ago, we consolidated offices to bring everybody here to the Boyertown location.
We just saw that trend. You know, we just didn't need an office in every neighborhood anymore.
Well, we
Right.
talk
All
about
the
like people
offices
working
open.
remotely, right?
Right.
We're no different.
Yeah.
Things get consolidated. You don't need a desk and a phone for every person in the office. You know, people are working from home on a laptop, on their cell phone, moving around a lot more, and we're no different. The brick and mortar necessity had really
Right.
changed for us.
And this is just a home base, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, so that was our thought
and
process.
and you know let's also include this was that Pottstown office that was Carl's home base. So when he retired, really
changed
that
the
office was
dynamic.
for him.
Yeah,
which was great.
right.
But in order to consolidate things and make things more
Yeah,
efficient,
we leased that.
Right.
We leased that
Right.
space, so we own this building. So it only made sense with our
Right.
ultimate plan of trying to of condense, get lean and mean, cut our overhead. It only made sense that we
Right.
would consolidate
Right.
into here.
Right.
So-
And part of that, again, times change. From a purely marketing standpoint, look what we're doing today, and the social media, and we can disseminate that message and that word and get our name out there. It's
we've
the
had-
office is not the
Right.
billboard it used to be. Right.
Right.
You put an office in every town because that's how you established you were working in that town. You know, today real estate's very much different. You know, you can kind of establish your area, connect with the community in ways that you don't have to have a brick and mortar building right there.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that I do want to highlight, all that being said, is that at the end of the day, we are still a locally owned
Absolutely.
business. You're looking at the owners of this operation who live here in the community, are involved in the community, and have been for really, if I look around this table, our whole lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I moved out of the area for maybe about a 10-year period. So for me, I've been in the Pottstown, Boyertown, Tri-County area for 37 years.
Right.
So we're bringing you experience, all of us at this table.
Well, ultimately, you know, we're long-term residents. So the advice that we give our clients isn't based on what's good for me financially today.
Right.
and hey, we're forgetting about you tomorrow. We all plan to be here for
Right.
10 or 20 years.
Right.
So, and that's one thing I liked most about working for Carl Glocker over the years, and that philosophy of give the clients good advice right now, even if it costs us a commission, money tomorrow.
Right.
The long-term benefit far exceeds the quick dollar in my pocket. So,
Right.
and I think we've continued that philosophy very well. You know, that here's good advice. It may not benefit me today. It may actually go against my financial best interest today. But in the end, I gave you good advice, and you'll be a good return repeat customer. And I think we've done the right thing, and it's paid off for us.
Right.
So,
And
yeah.
I think the reputation precedes us too as well, because I
agree.
mean, I go out in the community and people say, "Oh, you work for Glocker." I've always heard good things about them.
Reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think today, too, with a focus on supporting local businesses and wanting to do things in your own neighborhood, because we are kind of closed our circles a little bit. We might be traveling less. So I want to make it really clear to people that we are one of those local businesses. And much like the other local businesses and organizations that you're going to see here on the show at the Castic Glocker, we're sponsoring the events in your neighborhood. You know what I mean? We're sponsoring the school play at Pottstown School District. We're sponsoring the coming out of hibernation, or we have in the past. We're
The basket
contributing,
raffles.
the basket raffles, contributing to the
Building a better Boyertown.
building a better Boyertown. Some of the things that I'm involved in Pottstown, I have sponsored my cousin's rugby team. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're the ones that are doing this stuff in your neighborhood because we live in your neighborhood. We care about the same places, the same people, the same businesses that you do.
Yes.
And I think
Very well
that
said,
makes
Matt.
I think it makes a difference because you get a more in-depth type of service
And personal.
and definitely more personalized and connected. That's one of the reasons why I came to a locally owned realtor rather than a national chain or a franchise broker. I wanted to be local in my community and
Right.
work for a local business.
Well, I think that, when you talk about like local business, I think it's, it has taken on a bigger meaning than just a physical location.
Right.
It's that, like, the people here this is their career and this is where they live, and, they're invested, like you said, in their community, but they're also, they're making a living, and they go at night, they're going to go to the restaurant down the street, and they're going to, that's what that local feeling is all about. And like Martin and I had said, we kind of had that philosophy that we weren't just looking to be the biggest company. How many agents could we put in here? We wanted more to have an establishment that we could have agents or administrative staff that made it a living, right? Had a career, can raise their families, can do what they want to do. And it's an enjoyable place to work.
is.
And again, that feeds back into that community. And I think that when I hear local business, that's, so be it living in Pottstown or Boyertown or North Coventry or Limerick, we work in all those areas, and some of our agents, live around the area, and
Right.
they're invested in that community, as opposed to just big corporation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where there's more of a disconnect, and we see it with retention. We've been here a long time. Jeff,
Yeah,
you've been
12
with us
years.
a long time.
Yeah.
Matt, since
Going
your
on 6.
real estate career started.
Right, right.
And you see agents out there, and I think, when they work for a big corporation and national chain, you see them bounce around a little more. There isn't that kind of personal connection to the business.
Right.
That's fine. That's a different philosophy, a different strategy
Sure.
for them. But we I think are very proud of the fact that people come here and there's that retention. They want to stay here. they're part of this.
Yeah, we've built a lot of good
company.
relationships over the years.
Right.
It's not only with coworkers, with our clients.
Right.
Yeah,
And I
It's
would
nice to see.
That's a good, that kind of brings me to the point that I want to use to kind of transition into buyers too. It's those relationships that we have all been able to build in the community. So, for instance, when we are going to help our clients, we know the local carpenters, the local plumbers, the local electricians. And then on the buyer side, because we want to transition into this, I do a lot of research learning about local lenders so that I can plug my buyer clients into good programs that are going to fit their needs and really get them the most money that they need. And we'll explain how to do that. But one of the reasons I've been able to do that, and I know you guys do too, is because we're developing those relationships with other businesses and with other contractors and service providers right here in this area. And that's one of the things, again, that I appreciate because I can provide my buyer clients with a more focused look at what's available to them right here in these communities.
Right. And I think, we start talking about buyer strategies, and that's part of the basis of, what we're doing. Like I said, we're not just, all of our services are in-house and we only direct buyers to this one place because it's a part of this business. We basically have this, repertoire of contractors, service providers, and we try to find the right fit for that buyer. Because, as we talked about, there's different sellers, and what's your strategy to sell? There's different buyers. Be it you're a first-time buyer. Are you selling a property and moving up? Are you moving into the area? What kind of buyer are you? And that may be a particular lender. This lender is good for one thing. This one's good for another. And I think that's been good for us. Again, from a client service standpoint, we can customize
Right.
the services to that buyer. It's not just, hey, this is our in-house guy. Go
Right.
talk to them.
So I'm going to use an example too in order to bring us back to our ultimate theme, which is the spring market special presentation. I'm finally getting the hang
You got
of
it. You got it. It's easy to say. It rolls off the tongue.
Just as much as it is the best time or one of the best times, any time's the best time if you need to do it. But one of the more popular times to start listing homes is in the spring. Well, I would say too that one of the best times to start getting yourself ready to buy is in the spring, because you're getting your tax documents together. You're getting ready to file your taxes. Those same documents that you're using to file your taxes, you're going to have to give to the bank for your pre-approval. You might be getting a tax return or a stimulus check. Right. That's money that you're going to be able to use for down payment or to hire the moving truck or to buy some new furniture.
Yeah.
So you're already getting your financial ducks in a row. And I can help you. Any of us here at Glocker can help you plug into some other local services. For instance, the one thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to first-time home buyers, that's a niche that I really like working with. And I'm the kind of guy that I kind of want to game the system as best as I possibly can. So right now, Tompkins Vist Bank has a first-time home buyer program called Community One. 98% financing for first-time home buyers if you qualify for that program.
Right.
So if you're buying a $200,000 home and you only have to put 2% down, that's only $2,000 that you got to bring to the table for down payment money. So if you're getting a $1,400 stimulus check and you're married, so each person's, that's $2,800 there. Your stimulus could cover your down payment right there.
Right.
Now, here's another thing to think about, and this is a program that I think all of us know about or have at least tried to work with or maybe have. The first front door money comes out in the
Right.
spring.
Right.
So that's a $5,000 grant to first-time home buyers to help them with down payment costs. So if you
And
put
it's a grant. It's
a
not,
grant.
It's not
It's-
a loan.
it's
you're
not a loan.
You're not repaying.
Free money.
right,
Yeah.
it's basically free money
Right.
given to you to help you pay your closing costs. So you put together that 98. Let's just in a scenario, if this worked for the buyers, what their needs are, 98% financing first-time home buyer product from a local bank that you're going to be able to drive down the street and develop a relationship with.
Right.
Not somebody that you found on a computer who's based in Utah or Oregon. This is somebody who also lives and works in your community.
Right.
That's right.
And so you're going to have a local bank, local lender, 98% financing. You apply for the first front door grant, and you could possibly team that up in order to help pay your closing costs and down payment.
Right.
Now, the first front door program does require you to work with a certified lender. But we work with Meridian Bank.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They're
Meridian
very
Bank
well
has-
adversed with it. Yeah.
Right. Meridian Bank has 97% down payment, or excuse me, 97% financing first time home buyer product. And they work directly with First Front Door. So you take that, you put that together.
And those products are conventional financing.
That's right.
Which to the layman really means that your mortgage insurance is a little lower. You're paying better rates on mortgage insurance.
Right. The Tompkins program doesn't have PMI.
So even better.
Right.
Right.
And
Right.
just to clarify, the 97% financing means you're only putting 3% down.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah. You're financing 97% of the purchase. That's a good
So the money you have to
clarification.
come up with is just the 3% and the closing costs.
Right. So you can put those things together. Now, this is another. I get excited about this stuff. Like I said, because it's finding money.
Right.
You're if you spend a little bit of research time, you're sitting down with people and saying to them, "I just found you a few $1,000s. Would that be helpful?"
Right. Yeah. Look what's available to you.
I just talked to a woman the other day who lives in the Reading area. She lives within a redevelopment area, a redevelopment zone. There's money from that redevelopment authority that they give to homeowners and to home buyers. She's looking at possibly buying a house in her own neighborhood. So she'll be able to use one of these first-time home buyer products, sign up for First Front Door, and potentially get a grant of money from the redevelopment authority in her neighborhood.
Right.
Beautiful.
You can't
So at
beat
the
that.
end of the day, she'll be a homeowner and
Yeah.
probably pay less than if she were a tenant.
We figured it out. She's already done some of the basic math. Her mortgage payment is going to be less owning that home than she's currently paying as a tenant in the home. She's trying to work out a deal where she's going to buy the house that she's currently renting. Her
Right.
mortgage will be cheaper than her rent.
Right.
And as she pays it off, that's building equity, and eventually
She's
it's
got
going
a-
to be hers.
She's got a kid who's in school, so she'll be able to potentially use some of the equity in that home to send her kid to school.
Yeah.
It's the American dream.
Right.
The other thing too is, for instance, in Pottstown, this is the last one, and then I'll shut up. In Pottstown, there's a redevelopment area called Hobart's Run. If you live in Hobart's Run, or if you want to move into Hobart's Run, there's grants available for you. If you live in Hobart's Run, you can get $500 to help fix up your house, to do some of this curb appeal stuff, if that's what you want to do. If you want to move into Hobart's Run and you moved in from being a renter into first-time home buying or into home buying, they'll give you $5,000.
Wow.
There's nothing
Can't
stopping
beat that.
You can't beat that.
Right.
No.
Now that's a forgivable. It's a grant. It's forgivable over 5 years. So you stay in the house for 5 years. You don't owe them any money back.
Right.
Right. Well, part of that, I think
My point.
sorry,
Yeah,
go
my
ahead.
point. My only point. I'm fired up. My only point is, I know about these things. These guys know about these things because we live here in this community.
Right.
If you team and listen, you find the realtor that best suits your needs at the end of the day. But if you choose a realtor from outside of this area, do they even know what the Hobart's Run Improvement District is?
Most likely not.
Most likely not.
Right.
You pick somebody from the area who knows the neighborhoods, knows the communities, and knows what's available to you within the communities. Not just the physical house itself,
Right.
but all the other allied professionals that are going to help you move into that home.
Right. Get you there.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the grants, again, we talk about a strategy for a buyer because we're still dealing with a very hard market for buyers. There's no way around it. Buyers, it's very competitive for buyers. And on some homes, it's difficult because there's 6, 7, 8, 10 offers in. So your odds are decreasing if you're going to be the one that's going to be the strongest offer. And I think to start with, I think all of us here have had conversations with buyers, and the first thing to talk to a buyer about is, are you sure you're ready for this market? Are you sure you want to buy a house today? Mm-hmm. Because you really have to have a certain strength to go out and say, hey, I really do want to do this, and I have a need to do it. And that's great. And that's, you want to, it's quality of life when buying a house too. So it's not just all practical and financial. Mm-hmm. You can't say, well, you know what, I'm just going to stay where I'm at for 5 years. It's 5 years of your life that you wish you were a homeowner.
Right.
So, but you really need to understand as a buyer, we talk to them, are you ready to jump into this market? And if you are, then look for those opportunities kind of between the cracks. Yeah, some properties are going to come up and have 50 showings, and it's going to be insane competitive to get it.
Right.
But talk about the grants, well, where do you want to live? Maybe you find an opportunity for a property in one of these areas that needs some work. Mm-hmm. Not everybody is jumping on it, trying to get it. Maybe you could afford the house without the grants, so now take the grants and put a bathroom in, redo the kitchen,
right.
Put a roof on.
Or make a stronger offer. Because I had a buyer that did just that, was looking at a house within Hobart's Run, knew that they could qualify to get the $5,000 extra, and was able to bump up their offer to make their offer more competitive because they knew they were getting this $5,000 from another source.
Right.
So
either make yourself more competitive or look for an opportunity that's not as competitive to give you a chance and make the house the way you want it to be.
Right.
I think another strategy for buyers going a little bit the other direction is think about, when you say, well, I don't want to overpay for this house, but think about what improvements were done to that house. Oh, the house I like, it's got a new kitchen, it's got a new bath. So, okay, maybe you're going to pay $10,000 over the asking price, but you're buying it with those improvements done.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
that could have cost you a lot more on another house that doesn't have those improvements.
That's right. So, you think about, okay, when I get into the house, now am I kind of set? Can I live with it this way? And also think long term. Are you going to be in this house for 3 years, for 5 years, for 10 years, 20 years? Think about what you're going to be doing, because, you could get into a house. Buying the real estate, the ground in the house, is step one. If you're going to be there for 20 years, you're going to improve it over time. You're going to replace things. And so have a long-term strategy as a buyer. It's not just what's the house look like today, and that's what your decision is. It's what are you going to make of it? Location, right? The one thing you can't do with a house is you can't move it. So find a house that maybe isn't fitting all of your needs as far as the condition, but it's where you want to be.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go after that house. So I think that plays into that, having that conversation with the agent. Rather, we talked earlier, and Martin, this, the phone would ring here, we'd have an ad in the paper, the Mercury, right? Monday, the phone would ring. Is the person pre-qualified? You get them talking to a lender. Yep, I can afford a house. And we'd run out that afternoon and show it to them.
Right.
I think today it takes a deeper conversation with that buyer.
Right.
What do they want? Where do they want to be? What are really their aspirations? Time frame, all of those things. How long are they going to be in the house? We as salespeople, we want to go sell them something.
Right.
We want to accommodate buyers. Hey, yeah, let's go. I'll show that tonight at 8:00, whatever it takes. But if as a buyer, if you're just running out and looking at houses, maybe throwing offers out there with no real plan, you're going to get beat up.
Yeah.
You're going to get frustrated.
Quick, you're going to get beat up.
Yeah, and it's demoralizing, right? You're like, I can't get anything. My offers keep getting rejected, and so you need to come up with a plan.
Something just struck me too, just along with that, and again with using your local resources is, I have clients right now who have put in 5, 6, 7 offers. We're working with Jerry Barr, who's one of our lenders that we use on a regular basis here at Glocker, one of our go-to guys. Jerry's responsive. When I need to call Jerry up in the middle of the morning or the middle of the night for an updated pre-approval letter or a loan estimate, he's on top of it. Sometimes I get it back within minutes. And in a market like this, that's what you need, because you're dealing with very short periods of time. You get plugged into a lender who's not as responsive. It takes them a day or two to get back to you. You could have missed your opportunity.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think we all choose lenders that, whether it be Jerry Barr or someone else that we work with, we choose people that we know are going to be responsive to our buyers, to our clients.
Yeah.
And also that we know is going to get them to the finish line, which is
right.
They're
going to get the job done.
Yeah, right.
And one of the things too, and I think this goes along again with building the relationship. Yeah, I agree with you, Matt, 100%. At the end of the day, we're all salespeople. We want to go out and make the sale, and do all that stuff. But sometimes you want to take that extra time to make sure that there is going to be a sale, right?
Right.
I have sat down with some people who think that they're ready to buy a house. I take them to one of these lenders to get pre-approved, and I hear back from the lender, they can't do it.
Right.
For one reason or another. Now I'm in a situation where once I've developed that relationship with them, I can give them some advice. Okay, you need to clean up your credit. Jerry told us you have to clean up your credit. Here's how you can do that. I'm going to plug you in with somebody who's a credit repair counselor. You listen to what Laura Mabry says, she's going to get your credit score up. Come back to me once that's done. You need to save up a little bit more down payment money.
Right.
Here's how you can do that. Here's some grants that I know about, some free money.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can work back to that. All right.
Now we're ready.
Now we're ready to go. Now we're ready to go out. So,
Right.
For me, I want to be able to develop that relationship so that when the person is ready for me to be the salesman that I think that I am, I can do it, right? And sometimes that just requires a little bit of patience.
Well, for me too, in this market, working with buyers, it's not always what you guys said. It's you're trying to read your buyers. What do they want? What do they need? And then also using your experience to help them make their decision. There's properties that I've had where I'm pumping the brakes with the buyer.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be honest with them. Look, I think we might be getting caught up here a little bit. You might want to just slow your roll a little bit. Let's calm down a little bit. Let's look at these items that might be a concern. And in other properties, we're hitting the gas. Hey, look, this thing's got it. Go over. This is where we're at.
Right.
And we got to be careful because you're seeing homes that are coming on, and we're looking at them like, wow, man, they're off their rocker with what they want.
Right.
So you don't want to get caught up just drastically overpaying.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what I said before, it's our client's decision to make. But I think everybody here, we're here just to give you good, honest, solid advice.
Right.
We're not just looking at, all right, hey, so what? You paid too much. We got our commission. We don't care. We do care.
We do, yeah.
Doesn't mean somebody can't pay more than what they think they should. But we're here to tell you honestly, this is what we think.
I think with that, having that conversation with buyers, building that relationship, it also builds trust.
Correct.
They have to look at us and trust that we're going to be honest with them, and they're looking to us for that advice. And again, kind of circles back that local business mentality. We're not just there to unlock the door and say, "Have at it. Let me know what you want to do." We should be looking at the house through the eyes of, okay, what does this house need? What could be a potential problem? Where is it located? What is the value? Are they really asking way too much? All of those things. And that builds that relationship, and it builds that trust with a buyer. And again, strategies for buyers. You should be working with an agent that you do trust, that you not just answer the phone and runs you out to show the house, but you can really be a sounding board for.
Right.
They understand what you want, and you can talk to them and get an honest opinion should you move forward on a house.
And I believe handled that way, the buyers in 3 or 4 years, even if the market does change, or I think they'll still be satisfied with the home they're in, the advice they got. They're ultimately the position they're in.
Yeah.
Right.
The last time the market turned down, we encountered a lot of people who had gotten bad advice, so we stepped in to help them sell homes, and we had some difficult years.
Right.
So ultimately, I think that experience with them, I think they'll still be in a good position 3-4 years from now.
Yeah.
With that frame, if they're given the right advice, they go into their whatever agreement, whatever the house they buy, with that foresight, frame of mind, I think they'll still be fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as realtors we have tools and information that we do this on a daily basis that we can, pass on to our clients.
Absolutely.
So,
Everyone sitting at this table right now is a full-time real estate agent.
Yep.
This is our career. This is what I wake up to do every day.
And ultimately, the low interest rates are just the ultimate win for anybody.
right.
Buying a home
For
today.
buying a home right
Anybody
now,
buying a home.
regardless of what you're...
Yeah, and what we're talking about really right now is that person who is buying their first home they don't own now. If you're selling a home to buy, you may pay a little more than you should have, but ultimately you sold for more than you should have.
Right.
So it's really a wash anyway.
Right.
And for most people that I'm encountering, the interest rate is just the big win.
Yeah.
You're able to land such a low rate. The real question is going to come down to, what are you going to do if you do want to sell? Your rate's going to be so darn low that you got. So everybody buying today is really just they've won just from.
I think
I agree with that, Martin,
from
wholeheartedly.
I think
Yeah.
some of the advice that I'm telling people too is if you do want to sell something in order to buy, prepare yourself because your house is going to sell much quicker than you think it is.
Yeah, you have to have a plan when you put that house in the market because it will sell.
It's going to sell
Yeah.
super quick.
Yeah, that integration between selling and buying is more apparent today than ever, right? You have to have your plan for selling and where you're going to go and be prepared for your house to sell quick, but it makes you a more competitive buyer to know where to go. But yeah, they're really connected.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say this, man, make sure that if you are going to be in that situation where you're doing the sell in order to move to your next buy, as you're fixing up your property and getting it ready for showing, like we suggested to the sellers and all that stuff, getting it staged and photo ready, also be talking to your lender about what you're going to be able to qualify for on the backside, how you're going to finance that next purchase. Do it simultaneously because literally the second you see something you want to move into, you're going to have to jump on it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you're going to have your house ready to list like pretty much that day.
Yeah.
Right.
So as you're working on these things, do it together. That's my suggestion to people right now. Be prepared to move quick,
Right.
both on your sale and into your purchase. You got to have all your ducks in a row.
You do.
Yep.
You do.
And again, I think we here can help you get that structure in place that's going to support that.
Right. Yeah. And it's hard, it takes some guts to jump in
it does.
and do that, but it can be done. We're doing it all the time, and I think that client that we're talking about that's selling a home, maybe to move up to something bigger, whatever they want to get out of town to something on a bigger lot, or the other way, I don't want to mow the grass anymore. I want to get in town.
Right. Just had one of those.
Just had one of those. Absolutely. I think that buyer, typically it's a lifestyle change.
Right.
So as Martin said, maybe you're going to pay a little more for that house in this market. You probably will, but you're also going to gain on the selling side. But at the end of the day, it's that quality of life. In a couple of months, you could be in the home you want. You've made that transition, and you're happier in your lifestyle.
Right.
So again, not all just about the dollars and cents. It's not just an investment for you. It's about quality of life.
Yeah,
but having that plan.
Yeah, that's what you said about being a quarterback. We go out, we initially meet somebody, and we talk to them. We're coming up with that plan. Sometimes we got to call an audible midstream,
Yeah.
But I always liked, in my experience, in 30 years, I've looked at some deals to start with and said, oh, my God, even to me, I don't know how we're going to make this work out. And in the end, we leave settlement, and you're just amazed with the hard work, with the plans, with adjusting, with the resources that we have. It works out,
Yep.
And it's always great to see, as we're leaving settlement, that happened, and it was really just a good outcome for everybody.
Right. So I think we covered sellers and buyers
and
pretty well.
The spring market special presentation.
2021.
I had to think about it myself, Matt. I was like,
Don't forget
what did
the-
I call this
Don't
thing?
forget the oatmeal.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
It is.
You came up with the tongue twister.
Of course.
Don't forget the oatmeal.
Why make it easy on ourselves?
Don't forget Gramia's. Like and share the show. If you came in late, like and share the show. You can win $25 gift certificate to Gramia's. We're asking you to like and share the show so that you can help get the word out to the community.
Even if you aren't watching live, we're not picking it until Friday. So
you have plenty of time.
Plenty of
to like
time.
and
You know
share.
what I was curious about?
What's that?
Is there anything going on in Boyertown?
I was too, Martin.
I don't know why. It just
it's funny you should ask
It's
that
funny you
question
should
because
ask.
I'll tell you what's going down in Boyertown.
Why do you do that for
What's
me?
going down at Boyertown?
I haven't been here before.
Phoebe's,
I
We do
feel like
need theme
I want to.
music, right?
I may want to come back again.
So I have a weekly blog, as we all know. It's called What's Going Down in Boyertown. That's on jeffknowsboyertown.com. And each week I give a list of events that are all hyperlinked to the event itself, where you can just go through Friday, Saturday, Sunday and see what to do that week, pick it, and find out all the information. It's so simple. I also highlight something, whether it's something in the area or just something interesting to people. This week, I think, this coming week, we have St. Patrick's Day.
Oh.
It's a holiday to some more than others, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. If you're Irish, it might mean a little
I
bit
think
more.
everybody turns Irish on
Whatever,
St.
yeah,
Patrick's Day, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's not just about the green beer either.
No.
But so I was thinking about,
I think March. I also read that March is Irish Heritage Month.
Is it really?
Along with Women's History Month.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I mean, makes sense.
There you go.
But I was thinking about this saying, the luck of the Irish. How did the Irish become so lucky? So I looked into that, and I found out where that comes from. And I'll tell you real quick. During the Gold and Silver Rush, back in the 19th century, there was a number of Irish heritage people that struck it big. And so that's where that saying comes from. It's as simple as that.
Huh.
And you probably thought it came from like
Lucky
long
Charms.
time ago.
It
Right?
was from my Lucky Charms that I ate.
Right.
Right.
So no, that's where really what it stems from. They started calling them Lucky
So it's
Irish.
really American folklore.
It
wrapped
is.
up around the Irish.
It is,
Okay,
yeah. I
okay.
mean, there's lots of things connected with luck with the Irish as well, but that was, that's what really that's saying the luck of the Irish is where it comes from. So and then after thinking about that, I was like, well, where do we get all these like lucky charms? Not so much the cereal, but the charms themselves and these lucky symbols, lucky numbers, and where did they all come from? So that's what I did my blog on, and I have a couple of them here today. Do you want to?
Yeah,
you want to go over a
get into
couple?
it, yeah.
All right.
I'm thinking some in my head now. I want to see if you
Throw
got
one
it.
out because maybe I have it.
Well, the lucky, like number 7.
There we go. We can start with
So
lucky
triple
number 7.
sevens is 3 times the luck, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, why not?
What I would say 4 sevens would be 4 times the luck.
Right.
Right. No, but you see the triple sevens on the casinos,
slot machines,
machines. Yeah. They have lots of these lucky things on the slot machines. So where the 7 comes from, there's.
It's biblical, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it stems from a lot of things, but biblically, God created the world in 6 days, and then He rested on the seventh day. So that's where the and then it comes up often in the Bible
think too,
as well.
it was like Jesus came from the house of David, which was like the 7th house of royalty for the Israelites or something.
Yep.
So that's a number
Another
that
7.
Yeah, it's another
connection.
7 connection.
It pops up a lot in the Bible, yes. Also, there's 7 days in the week, so we see that every day. And there's other such things that we see. There's 7 colors in the rainbow, 7 notes on a musical scale, 7 seas, 7 continents, and then the 7 is the winning roll on a lot of betting games. So I mean, it's just I couldn't figure out exactly why but it's just so much in our lives that it becomes the number in our brains. There's also mathematical reasons and stuff like that. It is an odd number, and so it can't be divided upon itself.
Okay.
By
whole number.
Numbers.
Yeah.
And also, I forget what the other thing mathematically is.
But it's in your blog?
It is in my blog, yes, yeah.
You have the winning daily numbers in your blog.
Yeah, right. Maybe. You should go check. Where can somebody find the blog, Jeff? What's the name of the blog again?
The name of you can find it at jeffknowsboyertown.com.
Right.
And the name of the blog is What's Going Down in Boyertown.
There you go.
All right. So also, the four-leaf clover, and the shamrock, they're actually two different things because the shamrock only has three leaves.
Okay.
If it has four leaves, it's not a shamrock anymore. But the shamrock is a symbol of Holy Trinity, and it's said to represent faith, hope, and love. Okay, that's the shamrock. But a four-leaf clover that fourth leaf is what represents luck.
Oh.
So that's why a four-leaf clover is so lucky.
Yeah.
They say that that if you were looking for it in your grass in your backyard,
Right.
you got a 1 in 10,000 chance
Okay.
to find a four-leaf clover.
Really?
Okay.
And I got to say, for my son out there, he has 26 four-leaf clovers at his house. He didn't glue them together. I actually saw him find them, and he shows them to me.
We used to have some that grew in the yard at my old house in Pottstown, and we would find the four-leaf ones like on a pretty regular basis. I don't think we had 26 of them,
Right.
But we could find some every season.
I have never found
I
one
always
in my
thought
life.
that maybe that plant had some kind of mutation that was causing
Maybe.
that to happen. Yeah.
Really lucky plant.
Lucky plant. Yeah.
All right.
But you do see people posting up pictures about finding them. I just saw somebody, one of our friends, Jeff. I can't remember who it was, but somebody that we
left out.
know
I've
was
never
just
found one.
posted up.
Never.
Yeah, look.
I've never found
I
it.
have looked when I was young, a
Younger?
young lad.
Yeah.
I feel my childhood was now incomplete.
Martin's going to be planting clover
I'm
out
thinking
there.
I'm
Yes.
now going to go home and look.
Increase your odds.
Well, clover does have some benefits for farming. Isn't that one of the things that fixes
I would
nitrogen
think, but
or something?
I can't tell you. I can't say I ever found a four-leaf clover.
I've looked. I know.
I may go on a
I've
mission
never-
this year to find.
The deer love to eat it.
Oh,
I can tell you
would
that.
think that's probably
You
my
know what I'm going to
problem.
say to you,
Probably
Martin?
eat them
Good luck to you in finding that.
all. I want to find 7 of them now.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So then I'd be really good for the year, right?
Get your 7th son to find 7 four-leaf clover.
That would be so lucky. Since we all walk into many houses all the time,
Yeah.
have you ever seen a horseshoe hanging above a door in a
Absolutely.
in a
Absolutely.
house?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you ever wonder where that comes from? Like, does anybody know?
I just know it needs to be it needs to be turned up.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
the only
there's
thing that I know.
There's
I
an
don't know.
argument about that, whether it's to be
Can't
up
be
or
upside down. I know that.
Some say. Yeah.
No, don't attempt it.
Well, which side is upside down?
If
Which-
it's
what's-
upside down,
Yeah, but is that really
so
upside down?
so
or
if
is
you
this
let your
side?
luck fall out,
Yeah,
it's got to
exactly.
be up to keep your luck in.
want it
Like
like
that.
a U.
That's
Okay.
when
Because it
Martin-
doesn't have a lid.
Gotcha.
This was my luck.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
It's all
what
gone.
Martin said is exactly right. But the story behind this horseshoe, I thought it was a pretty interesting one. So we'll end with this, but I have many more on the blog.
Okay.
So let me just find my place here. Okay, so this is an Irish story, and then it's about a blacksmith and a devil. So one day a blacksmith was working hard in his shop, forging horseshoes. Suddenly the devil appears and demands his own shoe. The blacksmith recognizes the devil, took a burning hot shoe and nailed it deep into the devil's hooves. The devil howled in great pain and begged for the blacksmith to remove the hot shoe. He agreed under one condition. The devil must respect the horseshoe and never enter any place where one was hung above the door.
So
Here's
it
the
wards
story.
off. It wards off the
He's scared of the
evil
horseshoe.
or devil.
That's right.
Did not know that.
So I thought that was an interesting story. I think that was a good thing to end it with. So let's get down to the events.
Yeah. What's going on, man?
All right. So our friends at the Grind Restaurant, they are bringing back their music there.
Okay.
Due to the pandemic, they shut that down for a little bit, but they're bringing it back. Friday night music shows, and this coming Friday will be the first one with the Balloon Knots.
I know the Balloon Knots.
Do you know the Balloon Knots?
They were nice enough to play it. We do a small fall party.
Okay.
And a friend of mine is in the Balloon Knots, Randy Morale. He's our local funeral director.
Excellent.
They are an excellent band.
Yeah. And you went to the
Excellent.
Grind to see them one time, right?
I went last year,
Yeah.
just pre-pandemic.
I was there
They did a
that
great job.
night before you, I think. I don't think we bumped into each other, but they were setting up and they were doing a sound test, and I heard them do one song, and it sounded great.
They
Yeah,
are
I
well
like
worth
them.
the price of admission.
Yep. So they'll be at the Grind Restaurant this Friday the 12th from 9 to 12. That's the start of their Friday night music shows, and I guess they'll be doing it every Friday from then on.
Oh my gosh, they do a great job. They
Yep.
are, again, I love listening to them.
The Washington Grill and Pub out on Route 100 here. They're having a St. Patrick's Day weekend. It's Friday and Saturday night. They're going to have DJ Chris and Greg there, and they're going to have social distance dancing.
How do you
and
do
karaoke. I don't know.
I guess I have to go and find
that? Is
You
that
have
with
to
the,
get-
do I have to be
Yeah,
distanced with the person that I'm with?
I don't know.
Bring your own partner.
Because that may be
I know
that may be a
Koreatown,
good
but I
thing
don't
for
know
me.
this.
Maybe they're doing
Specific-
some kind of line dancing where everybody's
Everybody's
like 6
spaced
feet
out.
apart or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's squares on the floor. You have
Mm-hmm.
to stay.
And that's at where? Washington House?
Washington Grill and Pub.
Washington Grill
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Pub.
So that's Friday and Saturday night. They're, I'm sure that since it's St. Patrick's Day weekend celebration, I'm sure there will be some Irish stuff going on there too. Bally Hotel's Irish Wake.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're doing it this year.
How long
Wow.
has that been going on?
I don't have very much information at this point on it. I'm hoping to get more information, but it's going to be Friday and Saturday, and then on St. Patrick's Day they're going to have music, food, and drinks the whole time. They're only doing inside. They're not doing the big tent and everything.
They're not doing the tent.
Oh
No,
not doing
yeah.
that.
So I'm sure they're trying to be safe, but I just don't know any more details at this point.
That's like the most
Boy, that's
historic.
big event.
Yeah,
That's
re-
been doing that a long time. Yeah.
yeah.
As long as I can remember.
they
Oh.
they ended last year with the shutdown, so they
Did
did
they?
it, but it
They
was,
did
they
it
do
last
it last
year.
year?
They
Did they
did
do
it
it last year?
last year.
they
Good.
did
Right.
it last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the shutdown officially was March 16th, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the first day I think that real estate. I know.
18th.
Was it the
Yeah,
18th?
I do believe. Yeah, I believe it was the 18th is when we. I remember sitting in
Yeah.
here getting the order. Like,
Okay.
okay, this is what do we
All
have
right.
to do? All right.
All right, so
Yeah.
we're coming up.
Yeah.
We're coming up on that
Yep.
Yeah.
because we're coming up on a year on my other show, the Porchcast Pottstown, which I think our
Oh,
first
you can have an
episode.
anniversary show, Matt.
We are next week. We're talking about. I don't know. We haven't decided what we're going to do, but there's
I
gonna
can't
be
wait to see. I will
we'll-
be
we'll do
watching.
something.
The Colebrookdale Railroad is doing a special Irish thing this week. Molly Mcguire's Irish Lunch and Dinner. That's Saturday at this Saturday the 13th at 12 and at 5. That have two separate runs. One's lunch, one's dinner, and they're going to have your Irish fare. It's going to be corned beef, Reuben spring rolls, shepherd's pie, and all this good Irish stuff. Irish bread for dessert.
Salmon. That's one thing that people don't think about being Irish, but Irish people eat a lot of salmon.
I guess there's a lot of salmon in
Yeah,
Ireland,
in
in
the North
waters.
Sea and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, they come into the freshwater to spawn. The one thing I do want to say about, the Molly Mcguire's, there's a lot of history wrapped up in that. And
Yeah.
a lot of that is Pennsylvania history, too. But locally, there's down in Malvern, there's a place called Duffy's Cut.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why the Irish are so wrapped up with railroad culture is because railroad and mining culture is because that was one of the jobs that the Irish immigrants first got into was working for the railroads. A lot of them were laborers that helped laid the tracks, and Duffy's Cut down in Malvern was a place where these Irish immigrants were basically digging the railroad cut through a hill, and a bunch of them got sick and basically were left to die by the railroad company. And some local folks did a lot of history into this. They found the place, they put up a marker, and now there's a lot of history and stuff. Look it up. It's an interesting
I'll check
story
that out,
about
yeah.
Irish immigrants. If you just Google it, it's Duffy's Cut. And it's down in the Malvern area, down around Paoli and Malvern and stuff. Very interesting story about Irish immigrants and their contribution to the industrialization of America.
Yeah, nice. So if you want to celebrate the St. Patrick's Day with some music, Killen Clark, remember Kim that was in 2 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. Her Irish duo called Killen Clark will be playing at Kelsey O'Shea's in Douglasville from 5 to 8. You can go get some Irish dinner and listen to some Irish music.
Yep.
Have a good time on St. Patty's Day.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's that, and there's much more on the blog. Check out the events that are happening this week.
What's the name of the blog again,
What's
Jeff?
going down in Boyertown?
Where can I find that again?
Jeff knows Boyertown.com.
All
and
right.
that's not just Boyertown, it's the whole surrounding area.
It's the surrounding area.
Yep.
You'll find something to do anywhere
Absolutely.
in the area. There's some bunch of stuff coming up, but I think we can cover it on next week's show.
Okay.
There's going to be some things going down in Pottstown that folks from Boyertown might want to know about.
Very good.
And we'll talk about them next Wednesday.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock
and I think
or
we're
thereabouts.
going to be at Peppermint Stick Candy Store, I believe.
on next Wednesday,
Yep.
which is
St. Patty's Day.
Which is okay. So we're going to be
Yeah.
going to the candy store on St. Patrick's
Yep.
Day. All right.
We might even have some Guinness with us.
All right. I have a son named Patrick, so
Yeah?
it's his day. It's his
There you
day
go.
too.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Tune in every Wednesday at 6 o'clock or thereabouts. Don't forget to like and share the show. If you like and share this particular episode, the Spring Market Special Presentation,
Beautifully said, Matt.
Perfect.
you can win $25 gift certificate to Gramia's here in Boyertown, Pennsylvania.
All right.
Excellent.
Matt Kennedy, Martin Slater.
Yes, gentlemen.
We had a great time chatting real estate,
yeah,
didn't we?
I
fun.
appreciate it.
All
Yeah,
right.
Do
that's
this
good. I
again.
hope. people
Did you
got
have
some
fun? You were a
information out
little
of it.
reticent, but it's painless, isn't it?
Yeah.
Once you
guys
get
did a great
going,
job. You guys, you made me feel right at home. I feel like I belong here.
you feel like you belong. Good.
That's good.
Good. We've achieved. We've
We
achieved.
have.
Thanks for tuning into the Cast at Glocker to the Spring Market Special Presentation. Remember, if you need local experts, call us first. We're here to help you. If you are a local business owner or a member of a local organization and you want to get on the Cast at Glocker, call us. Jen Seville, our producer, will be happy to help work out the details. You can come in and talk to us, or we can try to come to you.
We just had some people contact her this week to try to get on. I mean, to get on the show, not try to get on the show.
Right, to get on the show. It's easy to get on the show.
You don't have to go through any hurdles at
You
all.
ask.
Martin and I got on. I mean,
Yes.
how hard
Anybody
can it
get
be?
on.
Anybody can get on, obviously.
All right. One more time. We're the Cast at Glocker. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and share. And we will see you next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Thank you.
Bye now.
All right, thanks.